Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and I'm here to talk to you about a Leeds United based sponsor on the channel, teamwallart.com. The link is in the description. Worldwide shipping, and it's unbelievable, guys. As I've told you before, this is the sort of stuff that you can get from these guys. My favourites on the end here, accused of everything, guilty of nothing since 1919. You can get this one for $5.99 if you buy another one for $7.99, and I did that. I've got the one of Marcelo Bielsa here, a beautiful image, really good quality as well, by the way, and of course the title winning boys. Some really good stuff on there, guys. As I said, the link is in the description. I went to these guys. I love this sort of stuff, and they are Leeds United fans. Go check it out. Enjoy the video. One Leeds is now sponsored by One Football. One Football is a really classy app. You can get all of your Leeds United updates on this app. You can get all the transfer news, injury news, match day news, and it really is top quality. The most downloaded app regarding football on the site. So make sure you go check it out. The link is in the description, and I hope you enjoy the video, guys. Yes, everybody, welcome back to One Leeds. Welcome back to Connor and Brownie supporting the One Leeds hoodie, supporting the comfort that is inside these things. I mean, straight away, I'm putting it on just like that already.
I'm not taking it off since it came. I'm not even joking.
God, how are you doing? All right?
Yeah, good, mate. Looking forward to tomorrow now. Just need to get one more sleep, get into tomorrow and match day, innit?
That's it, mate. Evening, Gordon White. Hope you're all doing well. Buzzing for this one is Tom McNamara. Will Brownie be joining us for the rumour mill in the summer? Of course he will. Of course, we've got some big plans for the summer. We've got a lot of Gabby Agbonlahor comments, which is always a laugh. But Brownie, before we start, it's going to be a little bit of it is a sour note because of what's happened, and we saw, some in the comment section below there. Peter Lorimer, the absolute legend at Leeds United, I believe he's been put into a hospice now. He's got brain cancer, which is absolutely horrendous. I've just told my old man, and my dad's just got really upset by it. My dad grew up with that Revy side, Lorimer being and it's It's so sad, isn't it, Brownie? Because it seems like a lot of that team, that Revy team now, we've had Madeley, we've had Bremner, we've had Cherry, we've had Hunter, we've had all of them, and obviously there are so many more to mention, but that generation, we're losing them, aren't we? We're losing a lot of them.
Yeah, it's sad, mate. Obviously, Charlton as well. It's just it's not been a great year, has it, for it? And it is really sad. I'm sure the club will be doing everything they can to support the family and everything, because obviously he's one of our legends, isn't he? So it is sad, but we wish him and his family all the best, really, and that's all we can do. Try and get 3 points for him tomorrow in the best possible way to help him, isn't it?
That's it. Thank you for your donation, James Fruin. Top man Connor and Brownie, lad. How are we all? Yeah, it's a sad start to the stream, but overall we're okay, and we're just sending our best wishes here from One Leeds to Peter Lorimer and the Lorimers just in general. But yeah, Brownie, tomorrow, guys, if you haven't checked it out as well, I did an opposition preview yesterday with Max from Villa on tour, which I think was pretty decent. A lot of people engaged with it. Brownie, initial thoughts? Aston Villa, absolute plethora of injuries for both clubs. Initial thoughts on them?
I was more concerned about Southampton, to be fair, and I was confident of the win. Villa, they had a great start to the season, didn't they? Kind of not fallen off a cliff, but they've slowly started to come down the table a bit, and there's no Grealish, which is a massive loss. I actually think Matty Cash being out is a big loss for him as well. I mean, I remember back to the 3-2 game at Villa Park, it was El Mohammadi who nodded it from Farouf to smash in, and I just think maybe putting Raf on that side could be a bit of a weapon for us. I'm not expecting an easy game. That's not what I'm saying, but I do fancy us. I'm going into games now. It's weird going into games now in the Premier League confident. And I was the most pessimistic fan in the Championship. I was just thinking, right, we're going to slip up. But in the Premier League, it just seems to be flipped. I'm confident.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, they are... I think we mentioned it before that we are we're a real unit, Leeds, and if one person goes out, I think at this moment in time, if one individual went out, Rafinha, it'd be cataclysmic. But at the same time, I still think we'd be able to move around. We'd still be able to move Costa, Harrison, and perform still at a very good level. I think Villa, when you look at taking out Cash, you're taking out individuals like him and Grealish. That is absolutely massive for Aston Villa because they are a team. They are a good team, but I think they're more individual based. Yeah,
and I look at, we played Leicester when they had no Vardy. It was no Vardy, no party, isn't it? We played Palace when they had no Zaha. We're now playing Villa without no Grealish. It just seems that these teams do have the key players that you do look for on the team sheet, and they're not there, so it can only help us. But on the flip side, we are going into it with quite a lot of injuries ourselves. I'm not sure whether Click's going to make it or not, but obviously Shackleton's already injured. Rodrigo's out. Phillips is out. You're suddenly thinking, crikey, what's going on in the midfield? So the team selection again will be key. Who makes it, who doesn't. I think Bielsa's confirmed some players aren't going to be fit. So we're not exactly 100% ourselves. So it's one of them where, again, we're looking at the first goal could be huge.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be one of those where it is that first 10 minutes, Brownie. I think you're right. It's the intensity that Leeds have, but the first, the midfield. We were just talking about it downstairs there, me and my old man. It is Rodrigo, it's Click, it's Calvin Phillips, it's Shackleton. Any side who lose, 3-4 players in that midfield zone, it's absolutely massive. Just in your opinion, if that is the case and Matthias Click is out, Marcelo Bielsa said he's going to be touch and go for the weekend. How would you work around it? Because I think, Brownie, what we've got to do, Aston Villa is still a very, very good team. They've got 2 games in hand, and let's be right with Villa, they're probably going to finish in the top 8. So they've had a brilliant season.
Yeah.
If you obviously take out Grealish, it's a little bit difficult, but they still have the attacking impetus of John McGinn, Barkley, Bertrand, Trezeguet. They've still got an abundance of talent there.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I know they're missing Grealish and Cash, but I think we're missing more players. Maybe not to the standard of what they're missing. Phillips is obviously our key player we're missing, but we're missing more players than they are, I think. So, yeah, Owen, I think he will, to be fair. But it's that will Strike go back into the centre midfield? They only play Watkins down the middle, so we won't probably see the three at the back. So it could be rejigging the back defence again. Pablo, will he start? I think he will.
Really? You think he'll start?
He will. If Click doesn't, you're looking at the team and you're thinking, well, who will?
I know. I'm like that now.
You're looking at Huggins, Hernandez. Who else steps in? Everybody else is injured.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean,
Roberts has already started, so Roberts is going to play again. You're looking at the bench from the other night, and there's only Huggins and Hernandez that can step in.
Yeah, because I was going to say, because even if the thing is though, Brown, it's what we need to do is this. What we struggled with in this formation last time was obviously Rodrigo and Click, because they were bombing on as 2-8s. Really, I do worry a little bit that if you've got Tyler and you've got Pablo in both of those sort of 8 positions, Leeds are going to be massively exposed yet again. And this is what we saw really with Click and Rodrigo.
Yeah, and that's something we've touched on with Rodrigo, isn't it? He likes to, very similar to Roberts, he sometimes is higher than a normal 8 would be. So we are exposed in the middle. Obviously, they both do the business up the top end, but obviously we're a bit more exposed in the middle. Shackleton being out, Click being out, Phillips being out, all at the same time. Alioski, I forgot about Alioski. Will probably come in and Dallas will step back into the centre midfield. That's what will happen. I've just remembered about Alioski being on the bench. He'll probably go left back, won't he? And Dallas will then come back inside, which will make up for Click, probably. That's probably the most sensible thing to do. So I think that might be what he goes with. But yeah, wouldn't it be great if we could go into a game with all our squad?
Well, this is it. I mean, we talk about it. I mean, I was speaking on a Villa channel today, and we're speaking about, how well Leeds are doing, and we keep banging on about this, but it is so true. Even if our summer signings all of them were available, we didn't make that many. I mean, we bolstered the under-23s, which was a massive part of our summer. But just Llorente, Cork, Rafinha, Rodrigo, if we just had those guys for the full season, it'd just be excellent, wouldn't it? I think we'd be in a much better position.
Definitely. I mean, how many games have we finished this season? I mean, Leicester stood out for me, where we finished with a full championship team on the pitch. Hannah, I think you're right. I don't want to break that back line. I've just remembered about Alioski coming in off the bench. He could go left back, and that will bring Dallas back inside, which is all out. But I don't think it looked very much like a back three the other night. But that's because Southampton play 2 up top. Bielsa always likes to have that extra man. Watkins is very much down the middle on his own. So who steps in? Who are we to judge the great man? But it's always good talking about, isn't it? What ifs, buts and maybes. But I mean, who saw Alioski getting dropped for Roberts to come in? Nobody saw that one coming in. He always seems to do these master strokes that pay off.
Yeah, Liam Cal 93. I reckon we'll stick with the 3 central defenders with 2 wing backs like the Southampton game. I think the only reason I might disagree with you there, Liam, is because we didn't do it last time. We're in that 4-1-4-1 system. Villa haven't changed their formation, and when they've normally got one up top, it normally is the 4-1-4-1.
Whenever the other team have one up top, predominantly down the middle, we go to a flat back 4. But I agree with him. It did work the other night against Southampton really well. But Bielsa's plan A or plan A, and that's what he's done in all the games. When a team's played one down the middle, we've always just played with 2 centre-backs, not 3. So I can't see him changing that.
I'm gonna put something to you, and I want everybody in the comment section to get it in the comment section exactly what you think about this. I think anytime Bielsa's come up against Dean Smith, I think probably the first game was a little bit less of this indication because it was tight. But I think in every single game we've played, it's Bielsa versus Smith. It's happened 4 times now. Smith hasn't beaten him once. In every single time, and I know we do this to every team, but I think Villa, there's a huge indication of it. In the second half in particular, in all of these 4 games, Leeds have grinded Villa down. Now, the biggest indication of this for me was 3-2 down at their end, and they'd started very well. It was a little bit like, Conor McGregor in a UFC fight. He starts very active, and then he burns out towards the end, and Leeds get stronger and stronger. Leeds are like Khabib, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that continues to happen when we play Villa. And I was listening to a podcast today, a Villa podcast, and they were saying The problem with Leeds is that foundation of fitness. You've got Ross Barkley in there. You've got John McGinn. I know John McGinn's a hard worker, but you've got Douglas Luiz as well. I think if that is your three, I don't know if they're going to diligently run like Leeds do. And I think we've seen that. There's a pattern with Leeds against Villa. And that principle of fitness against Villa, for me, always comes to it always comes to the top. I don't know what you think about that, mate, but I always think we grind them down.
Yeah, well, touching on Barkley, he doesn't seem to finish many games. So it's that fitness element. A lot of time, I mean, he had that spike, kicked the water bottles when he got brought off. He seems to be coming off in every game, does Barkley. So it is that element of grinding them down. And you're right, in every game, even going back to, I think it was Kemar Roof's first goal for Leeds, it was 0-0 at half time. We won 2-0 in the end. Roof and Wood scored in the second half. It seems to be in every game we play them, we always do come on stronger against them. So maybe, I don't know, will Villa sit off a bit more, to be fair?
I quite like this comment from, I can't even say your name, but Teshen Reckner. Sorry, it's a good name. I can't pronounce it. Reminds me of when we did the same with Little Lee Johnson Bristol. I think that is true. And I wouldn't go as far to saying that Villa are unfit because they're an elite Premier League team. You can't be where they are in the table if they're unfit. But what I will say is there's just been an indication with Leeds. I think Bristol's a really good example. Although with Bristol, I do think from moment one, we've been the dominant team. I think against Villa, it's been a bit even up until half-time in quite a lot of the games, and then we've really broken them down in the second half.
Definitely. I mean, even the famous game where we had to give them a goal, that game, we were on strong. They were on this amazing run of winning so many games on the bounce that got them into the playoffs and got them promoted. But in that second half, we were really on top and really dominant. And it is a correlation in every game we've played that we do seem to be on top in the second half. It'd just be nice if we didn't give them a 2-goal lead at any tomorrow.
Is this what we're sort of looking at then from Arjun? He's just put Melier in net, Alioski left back. I think, yeah, that's obvious. Cooper, Strike, Ayling, and then you've got your sort of midfield four, haven't you? Click, Dallas, Roberts, Rafinha, Costa, Bamford. Costa, interesting. Let's have a little bit of a chat about Helder Costa, Brownie. Obviously, when you're looking at the fullbacks, I think what you're going to see, there's been a Villa lad who's coming through at this moment in time. He's a right back. He captains their 23 side, and they reckon he's going to be the next big thing. There's a lot of Villa fans shouting for him, but I think they're going to go with the experience against Leeds. El Mohamed is probably going to start on the right. Matt Targett. Now, this is what I want to bring up with you. Matt Targett's been one of Villa's outstanding performers this season. He's been absolutely excellent. I guess I've got two questions for you. Number one, Harrison or Costa? And number two, where does Rafinha play?
Is this to me or is it to Bielsa? Because Bielsa will play Harrison.
Yeah, if I could get him on, mate, I'd ask him.
I know. Well, I do sit on a beanbag from time to time. Not quite a bucket. But, I still would play Harrison.
Right.
I think Costa's been brilliant lately, and he is pushing Harrison because I think Harrison does he needs to play. He needs a game out of him. But when you look back to that Villa game, I thought Harrison was unplayable away at Villa Park in that game. Him and Alioski just
Cash as well, wasn't it? It was Matty Cash.
Yeah, even Alioski backing him up. They just seem to be in tandem, and they just seem to absolutely blow them away. A lot of our attacks came down that side with Alioski and Harrison, so I think he might be looking at that combination. And again, I think Costa's more dangerous coming off the bench than Harrison. That might sound daft because I'm saying play Harrison, but Costa lately when he's come on, he's been explosive. He's been getting behind the fullbacks. So I think he will go with Harrison over Costa. The other question was...
It was if Rafinha's, obviously we know Rafinha's going to be starting. Yeah. So now you've just spoken about Harrison. I presume you're still starting Rafinha on the right?
Well, you say that, but the other night they started the other way around.
Yeah, I would be starting him on the left.
I probably would start him on the left and just keep switching him because the other night he did start on the left, and you think, like you say, it's El Mohamed, who obviously is a seasoned pro, but I just think he's not going to have the pace for Rafinha. Not many fullbacks are going to have the pace for Rafinha, but Yeah, it's some. I think he might go with Rafinha down that side. He knows it's their weak area.
But yeah, so but I think what you've just brought up a really, really good point there, and I hadn't thought about that. The combination that we had with Alioski and Harrison was that game, their combination against such a good team. I mean, Matty Cash has been one of their outstanding performers this season. I mean, I spoke to Max, and Max said that was the toughest game for a lot of Villa players. And I'd put Matty Cash in that category. So, Brownie, in tandem with that, if you're starting Rafinha on the left, you're sort of breaking up a little bit that and also, Brownie, would you want Rafinha and Alioski on the same side defensively?
Like you say, the combination, I think Rafinha and Ayling have got a really good combination down the right-hand side as well. They've seemed to have picked up a bit of communication and they seem to be in tandem themselves with each other. So when you look at it like that, you probably would have Rafinha on the right and Harrison on the left just because of them combinations. Hannah's saying Harrison starts, he's how it goes. They've got that flexibility, haven't they? With all the positions all over the pitch, you just seem to, like we mentioned with the midfield, we seem to be able to rotate players. You probably will see them switch flanks, switch it up, see how it goes. But the Harrison-Alioski combination at Villa was probably the best time they played together with each other.
Yeah, Sujal, Harrison definitely before Costa. Though fair dude to Costa, who's been trying harder. I feel agree with Brownie. Costa to come off the bench better than him starting. I just think the thing is we've not really seen Costa start a game, and I think when there was obviously we're having the issues when Costa was starting games in terms of him really even defensively. I don't really think he was on point. Attacking wise, he was very poor, and I think it's very easy to just sort of judge someone on the fact they're coming off the bench. It's like, well, it's very different to starting a game, isn't it, Brown?
Oh, yeah, massively. I mean, even in my playing time, coming off the bench, I loved it. The game's stretched, it's wide open. If the other team's losing, they're pushing further forward. I'm not saying I'm Eddie Nketiah, but I was that type of player. And Nketiah was so much better coming off the bench. We had the whole Bamford and Nketiah debate. Nketiah started a couple of games. It didn't work. It was just coming back. He wasn't holding it. Whereas Nketiah coming on late on in games, stretched, defences are tired, and you have that explosive pace, which Costa does have. I think will be a bit of a weapon coming on.
Yeah, definitely. So where do you see us really hurting Villa then? Because I think in this game last time, I was almost so surprised by not only Bamford's performance in terms of his finishes, which were literally world class, and his movement, which was absolutely superb, but I think it was his general. He completely, not only did he pocket Tyrone Mings, who's been excellent for Villa this year, by the way, he completely got in his head. And this is the thing with Bamford. You, as an opposition fan, I can understand why you'd hate him because you'd love to have him on your team. It's probably a little bit like their equivalent to Grealish in a sense of opposition fans disliking him that much.
Yeah.
Bamford's not a well-liked figure across the board from opposition clubs, but he seriously got into Tyrone Mings' head last time, didn't he, Brownie? Do you think that's somewhere else where we can target again this game?
Yeah, well, like you say, he should have been sent off for me. He picked him up and shoved him to the ground on Elaka. He really got under his skin. But what better way to get under someone's skin with them popping one in the top corner and walking off the pitch with a match ball? Psychologically, I think Bamford is a type of player. He comes across in these interviews as such a likable guy, and he is obviously donations for laptops and education stuff. But I imagine on the pitch he will really whine play. He just doesn't stop running, does he? Nah. He'd be like a fly that doesn't stop moving around. You're just constantly trying to whack it.
I think Mings is a little bit you can get. I mean, I always revert back to Tyrone Mings, that Zlatan Ibrahimovic battle that him and Mings had. You can get in his head, can't you?
Yeah, he's erratic, isn't he? He comes across as that erratic. I mean, was it Zaha? Yeah, it was. Yeah, Zaha this season. Zaha got in his head. He got him to I remember 5 minutes. Got him sent off just by winding him up and playing on him. So could that be something to look at? Yeah, but I just think Leeds are just that relentless with whoever they play. They just keep on going. I mean, we've played some top teams this year. We've Liverpool away first this season, which a wave after wave after wave of attacks. So it's just grinding teams down, like you said, and hopefully we do that tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. It's a bit of a strange one, really, because the first game I went into, I don't know about you, Brownie, and listen, I'm always hopeful of a Leeds win, but they'd just come off the back of smashing Liverpool 7-2. They were absolutely relentless. They were barely letting in any goals. Grealish was on fire. Barkley at that moment was on fire. I think he just grabbed a brace against Liverpool as well. I think he got a couple of assists in that game.
They were unbeaten.
Well, they were, and we were going into that game. They'd won, I think, every single game at home as well. And we were going into that game. Calvin Phillips was out. And you were looking at it and you were thinking, Pascal Stroik gets taken off after 20 minutes and you're thinking, gee, this is going to be a long evening, this. But overall, we were completely dominant. I mean, do you see Villa setting up a little bit differently tomorrow? Because I think they've got to do, haven't they? Surely.
Well, I think you've touched on something with Bielsa and Smith. Smith's never beaten him. And I think that as much as we laugh about it, that will be in the back of his mind. Does he set up differently just to try and throw us off? I think Everton now isn't a good. Yeah, he does have that erratic part of him, like we've said. But yeah, just going back to Bielsa and Smith. Smith's never beaten Bielsa, and I mean, Villa fans, rightly so, got him promoted. They all sing Smith's praises. We all sing Bielsa's praises, and there seems to be this big debate: who's better, Bielsa, Smith? I can't believe it's a debate, to be honest. But, it does get circulated, doesn't it? It's like it's laughable, but they're probably the other way around. Laugh the other way, because obviously they always say they went on this amazing run, which they did, but Smith's never beaten him.
Do you know what I think it is, Brownie? I think which kicks off this social media. It's all social media. This Villa Leeds thing, but the big thing is, for me, it's of everything from that first game, of course it is, but it's two massive clubs who are on an upward trajectory, and we're sort of meeting each other, and it's like, okay, we're feeling each other out. We're like, it's like Pacquiao and Mayweather going to the top. One of us is going to get there. One of us is going to be the cream of the crop. And I think it's like we're both getting that upward trajectory. We're both getting there. We know we are, but at this moment in time, listen, our first season, we've got 15 games to spare. And if we're doing comparisons, they had more money investment in their entire squad in that first season. You look at the plethora of talent they had, even from the Championship, the amount they invested in the Championship in comparisons to that Leeds side that got promoted.
Of the Championship, mate, they'd be back in it if a watch worked.
Not only that, and I'm gonna go for it. Like, listen, I'm not getting at Villa here, but seriously, if Jack Grealish, I remember going, and we'll get onto Grealish in a second, but I remember going to Villa Park, Leeds winning 3-2, and Villa, I think they were languished in 13th place. You cannot throw Smith into the conversation with Bielsa when you look at it, as soon as Grealish came back, I think Villa won. It was something like 12 games. Yeah. It was ridiculous. And he's a phenomenal player. We know he is. If he was one of our own, we'd love him, but he's not. That's why we don't like him. But my point is, you cannot. If you take Jack Grealish out of that side, they didn't get promoted that year. They did not get promoted.
No, and I think they say they went on this amazing run. They should have been up there. They shouldn't have been 13th.
Tammy Abraham, Conor Hurahan.
He redeemed himself. They should have been up there. It's Aston Villa in the Championship. They shouldn't be 13th. I mean, you look at the Championship now. Barnsley are a point off the playoffs.
On fire.
You know what I mean? Villa should be up there. And like you said, it is two big clubs. Two clubs that historically they do belong in the Premier League. Both of them, Leeds and Villa. They're massive. Should they both be in Europe? We've got this big six argument now. There's a lot. They've had a lot of investment for years, but Leeds and Villa, they should be banging on the door of Europe, both of them. And I think you're right. I think this. I don't even see it as a rivalry. It's just more of a. We're both on the same path.
Professionalism. It's professional, isn't it? Yeah.
We're both on this same path. Very close with each other, and I think for the first time this season, if we beat them, we go above them.
Brownie, do you know what wound me up more than even in that first game? This will get clipped up and we'll get caught. Everyone will say we're obsessed with Villa, but I enjoy talking about it. It's a nice talking point. I mean, with you as well. I've never properly discussed it before, but that first game, it wasn't I mean, I was there and I was absolutely, I was spitting just envy. And it wasn't at Villa. It wasn't at Villa as a club. It was just the scenario. I didn't even know what I was saying. But, when that all happened and all this sort of stuff, John Terry on the sidelines, and you get home and you look at the Sky replays and you see what he called Bielsa, and you see what, and I'm watching it, and I'm honestly, because Bielsa's like our grandfather, isn't he? He's everything that's perfect with Leeds. And when I saw what he called him,
sums him up though, doesn't it? It sums John Terry up. You can get clipped for he's a tit. You know what I mean? That goal thing for Villa. There was
every week, don't you?
There was a game that season at Villa Park, and I'll find it. I can't remember who it was against. QPR.
2-2. Stoke 2-2.
Yeah, Stoke. That was it. They did it. Someone went down. They played on, scored. It was like near the end of the game. Got a point from the game. Yeah, John Terry's frothing at the mouth because we've played on. Well, by the way, Codger had gone down more times than the Titanic that game. It was up and down off the floor all game. It's a bit like Cry Wolf. Well, are you injured? Are you not? They only took him off because of what happened. That I'll say it right now. They only took him off, said he was injured because of what happened. And we had this incident with Southampton. You play to the whistle, don't you?
Yeah.
You play to the whistle. But we went down near the edge of in between the edge of our box and the halfway line. We've still got to get through your whole team to score the goal. We don't have to kick it out. It wasn't a head injury. It really wound me up, that goal. And I know we let them score. I was in the Pontus Jansson camp. I'd have been trying to kick it. I would have been trying to kick it away. And I mean, I know that was probably the beginning of the end for Jansson of his Leeds career because he went against what Bielsa said. But I still don't get why we did it. I mean,
Brownie, it's like what Luke says here. He just says Codger trying to foul Cooper as well. Let's not forget, which he was.
Yeah, I mean, what the whole aftermath of it? It like I've said on this show before, though. No matter what happens, if Leeds are involved, it's highlighted. Its magnitude completely. Nobody remembers what happened in the Stoke Villa game where they played on and got a goal. It happened again last year with Villa. They played on, scored when someone was down. Don't matter. Nobody mentions bats an eyelid, but because it's Leeds, the whole Derby County Spygate thing, people still mention it now when we play Derby. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, well, I've seen Derby's training ground. He stood on a footpath. Do you know what I mean? Have a better training ground if you don't want anybody to have a look. He's not doing anything wrong, and we got a £200,000 fine for that. It just seems whenever Leeds do something, boom, it's blown up.
That's why I'm worried about Pitchgate.
Now, I'm going to say something different, though, because I'm in Southampton's camp on that, and I said it.
100%.
That pitch is dangerous. It's horrendous. Can you imagine the outcry? Tottenham have still got to come to Ellen Road. If Kane breaks an ankles out of the Euros,
it's their fault. It's their fault. It's their Brownie, unless Bielsa's telling them every single game the ground, which I wouldn't surprise me to go on and just water it.
I don't get why the water in it is. But it's been bone dry. It hasn't rained for a few days, has it? So maybe tomorrow
yeah, you never know.
It's a big call, but I can see, and I might sound daft come the end of the season if it doesn't happen. Wouldn't surprise me for one if a team refused to play. And two, I can see us having to play our home games somewhere else.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't mind that. We could play at Bramall Lane. We could have more wins than Sheffield United at Bramall Lane this season. I'm only played them. We've got 7 home games left. If it gets any worse, I can see us having to play somewhere else. But there's no fans. It doesn't really matter where we play. We play at Fort Parch, but the advertising side of it comes in with the advertising boards and stuff. That's where it starts getting messy. But the pitch, probably why Grealish don't fancy it. He's on the floor most of the time anyway, isn't he?
Yeah, well, Chad's brought up a good, and I saw this as well. Off topic, did you see Dortmund versus Hoffenheim? I don't know if you saw this, Brownie, but Hoffenheim player went down injured. Hoffenheim played on, give Haaland the ball, and Haaland,
yes, I did see it. Yeah,
Haaland's starting on everyone.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like I missed the name there. they did play on. They played on and lost the ball. If you want to kick it out. But I mean,
Shall we move on from past endeavours? Because we sound a bit obsessed, aren't we?
Yeah, well, nothing to be obsessed of. We beat him every time we play him. But yeah, we can move on.
That's true. Right, okay. Let's get on to him, and I'm going to let you talk, and I want everybody in the comment section to let me know exactly what you think. I'm going to give my 2 cents straight away. Jack Grealish, you can like me for saying it, or you can hate me for saying it, and I know people just don't like you commenting on Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish is a phenomenal football player. He's a generational talent. He is absolutely super, in my personal opinion. I think him being out naturally will help us. I thought in the first game, listen, we did really well on him. I don't think he was able to get round our man marking system that well because we doubled up on him. It's a massive, massive plus for Leeds United to not have Jack Grealish in this side. His assists and numbers this year have gone through the roof. And but what I will say, on the other side of it, he goes down way too easily. We can talk about him being the most foul player in the Premier League, but I've played football, Brownie. You've played football at a decent level, a very decent level, and you can buy fouls. And this guy's like no other person at buying fouls. Jack Grealish will be thrown goal, and he will wait until someone clips him on the back of the heel so he can get that defender sent off and they can have a penalty and he can score. That's Jack Grealish's mindset. He will go down at any touch, or even, I mean, there's a clip going round on Twitter. He just literally throws himself to the floor. Very good at it, but I hate this rhetoric that he gets fouled more than everybody. Gets fouled more. No, he doesn't. He's just extremely good.
Yeah,
there's a big difference.
Yeah, massive difference. He is Mr. Villa, isn't he? And I think they did wonders to keep hold of him. I mean, I think he was off to Tottenham at one point, wasn't he? And like we've said from the Championship days, the minute Grealish was back in their team, they rose up the league. He's our Calvin Phillips, so to speak, isn't he? And for them to keep him was massive. He'll go to the Euros. He's a great talent, isn't he? Let's be right. There's no taking away from it. But most foul player, I bet if you... I mean, I've got more time on my hands than anything at the minute, but I bet if you looked at all his fouls, I would say a good third are not fouls. But like you say, he's buying them, isn't he? Based on that, he's your best player. He's Villa's best player. Without Grealish, Villa go down. That's how good he is for me. Without Grealish, I mean, he's been out how many games? Is this his second? So it could be 2 losses from 2 without Grealish. When Grealish went back into your team in the Championship, you were unbeatable. Went on that unbelievable run. I wouldn't say it's salty.
He's an incredible footballer.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's salty. I mean, we've got Alioski. I bet teams hate Alioski.
And Bamford.
And Bamford. Would we love Grealish in our side? Every team would love Grealish in their side in the Premier League. I think he gets into, apart from City, I think he gets into any Premier League team. So that's why I think it was unbelievable that they kept him.
Yeah, very, very, very well to keep hold of him, definitely.
Yeah, but he does buy a lot of foul. Is it clever? It's winning his team a foul. Will he ever not do that? No, probably not. That's him. That's who he is. I still don't understand how refs are buying it, but that's not Jack Grealish's fault. But on the other side, we've got Ayling, who goes down with a touch of a feather. Every time he's in a corner, you know what's coming. We call it the Ayling flop. Every team's got a player like it, and it's just highlighted because of how good Grealish is, really, probably.
Yeah, just on a football inside anyway. So you just think it's insane that he's very good that he's out of this game, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, Villa with Grealish are better. It's fact. With Grealish in the team, they're better. It'll be a harder match. Am I more confident that to beat Villa tomorrow with Jack Grealish not playing? 100%.
Yeah.
And Villa fans, if you're honest with yourself, you're going to be less confident because Jack Grealish isn't playing. It's just a matter of fact. But that just epitomises how good Grealish is. Who's
a bigger loss, Grealish to Villa or Phillips to Leeds?
Grealish to Villa.
I'd agree.
Definitely.
What about Rafinha for Leeds?
I'm gonna say Grealish to Villa. He's just their heart. He's just the heartbeat. He's in the centre of the pitch. It's almost like the film Jimmy Grimble. Just give it to Jimmy. That's all Villa do. Look
I
up,
love your Jimmy Grimble references.
look up. Where's Jack? Let's pass it to Jack. And why wouldn't you? He's their best player. Without him, they're weaker. They have to be.
And I think it's good for us as well, because in this man marking system, a ball carrier like him, who is an elite ball carrier, it didn't happen for him in the first game. It didn't happen for him at Ellen Road, Brownie. Let's be right there. At Ellen Road, Calvin Phillips did a job on him. But he is an excellent ball carrier. And in our system at this moment in time, we've got a fair few players out. Grealish could cause a lot of damage.
Definitely. I think in the first game at Villa Park, he had that mazy run, didn't he, from the halfway line where he went through everybody, skipped through everybody, should have scored, and that would have put him 1-0 up. That was the only time I think he got on it and really hurt us. But you're right, with our man-to-man system, without a Phillips, Grealish would really hurt us.
Definitely. Well, mate, I guess I've exhausted the Villa Leeds content now. I think we've just got to leave with our score predictions. Get them in the comment section below, guys. Brown, I think you've got something about the shirts.
Yeah, so we had the competition with surprise shirts on Twitter. We'll bang it up on Twitter from the Southampton game, and there was no winner. Nobody got both halves right. So we roll it over. We will roll it over. We'll put the description and stuff and how to enter in there, and we'll bang it up on Twitter and Instagram and that. But basically, you just got to guess both halves of football, what the score will be in each half. So to win the other night, you'd have had to have gone 0-0, 3-0. So a little bit different to a normal score prediction. But there we are, surprise shirts. We've teamed up with them. We'll bang it on Twitter. So Connor, you got the score right. Well, you got Wolves' point. I got the point for the Southampton game. So what are you going tomorrow, mate?
Tomorrow. The thing is, I can't win, because if I say we lose, I'm a negative git. But then again, if I say we win, I'm jinxing it, Brownie. So where do I go in the middle?
If you say we lose, and we win, who cares?
Yeah.
If you say you lose, and we do lose, you get a point.
Fair enough. I'm gonna go with Leeds 3, Villa 1.
Wow.
I think we're gonna take the lead early. I think we're gonna score. I think we're gonna score another 2, and I think they're gonna get a consolation with Watkins in the last minute.
I'm gonna go 1-1.
1-1. Talk to us. What are your thoughts on that one?
I just think we touched on it before about Smith never beating Bielsa. I think it'll be cagey. I think it will be cagey. I think we're missing quite a few players. We've got no. I hope Click can come through. We've got no Click, no Phillips, and we come off the back of a win. The pitch, got to take that into consideration. It's not going to do anybody any favours.
Going to do us more favours than them, mate. Trust me. Played on it.
I think it'd be cagey, and I think it 1-1.
1-1, yeah. Well, as I said, guys, so all you need to do is follow us on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, because that's how you enter as well. And we've teamed up with surprise shirts. And as Brownie says, you just get a surprise retro shirt through the door if you win. So you just got to guess the first half score and the second half score. Respond to our tweet on the day. And you could win yourself a surprise vintage retro shirt for absolutely.
It's literally surprise. You have no idea what's coming. It's just a box with a shirt in, a retro shirt. So it's a great prize. Hopefully we get a winner. If not, we roll it over again.
That's it. So we'll be back on, I reckon, Sunday. So we'll be back Sunday midday, guys, to go through the game. Thank you so much. Ollie, there you go. I've never described it as OLTV. It just reminds me of it's like Olympic Lyonnais. You know what I mean? I feel like that's Leon's fan channel or something. But, I did think about that. When I was making the One Leeds thing, I thought to myself, it does sound like a bit like Leon. Like I'm like a Leon fan channel or something. But there you go.
I'd be lost. I struggle with English, mate. If you were speaking in French, I wouldn't have a clue what day it was or what were going on.
Well, we're from Leeds. We do struggle with English. But yeah, mate, thanks for joining me, guys. Thank you so much. And we will see you in a bit. Cheers.